Welcome back to Whitt Acres. Today we're going to be continuing on the perimeter fence project and finally cutting down the forest in the duck pen. It is blue skies and sunshine today and the birds are already down at the pond. I need to check on the mama hens here, make sure they have everything they need, and then bring in some feed that I just picked up today. Oh, Louise, how's it going, girl? Keeping your babies safe? Are they upstairs? Where are your babies? How do I always lose babies when they're inside a box? Oh, I see you in there. Still have two? Why are you inside? It's a beautiful day. Huh, Dizzy, you're outside too? And your babies are inside for some reason. Now, I can't be the only one enjoying this summer weather. Now, I do really well in the heat. I don't do well in the cold at all. If it's below 72 degrees, I gotta put some sleeves on. But I also don't get overheated unless we're up over 90 degrees. So summer is my time. Huh, ladies? Good job, Rufio. I'm not much for winter, even though it is half the year here. But I also don't want summer all the time. I really do enjoy having all four seasons. But I picked up little girl today, and I picked up some pumpkins that were in the cattle pasture, just volunteered up there. My brother's gonna be brush hogging the cattle pasture down, so I just grabbed them to keep them for decorations here, and then I'm just gonna feed them to the animals. Pup. But I'll always keep them for decoration until they start to soften. Good job, Rufio. But I picked up some feed and sawdust that I need to get inside today. But I did have time to start this video yesterday because I knew it was going to be a long one. Now I'm working on getting the whole perimeter of the property fenced off so we can be nice and safe whenever I let the animals out to free range. We have behind the barn and pretty much the back side of the property all the way down the chicken run done. So this is all fenced in on the back side, and we actually brought it down almost all the way to that tall pine tree. Now I already have a 2-foot fence up, and that's just to keep the ducks in, but I'd like to put a 4-foot fence up so I can try and keep the predators out. Because the guard duck's not always on duty. Pup, we gotta make sure no neighborhood dogs come running into the field whenever we have mumbles at the pond. But since I already got started yesterday, I'm gonna throw you back so you can get all caught up, and then we'll finish it up today and get a little bit more done. Lils. I see ya sitting in the shade. Duck family. All alone in the koi pond now. You don't have any boys bothering you, you might actually stay here all day. You do you, ducks. Little girl, you lazy pup. Still a little bit early, we might have to wait on him. Duck family's out here though. Enjoy nature today. Alright, pup, it's looking like the 2-foot fence is pretty much the straight line that I need. So I really don't think I need to run this string. I can just put the posts along the posts that I already have. Just put the new T-posts in and then pull the old fence out. Huh, pup? And this fence did work for a couple years now, keeping the ducks in from getting in too much trouble. But now we got to try and protect the ducks from anything coming in on them. And the 4-foot fence is going to help with that. I got a weed whacked along the line here, so that's cleaned up. I hope I can pull that out pretty easily. We're going to get the new T-posts in, and then I can start stringing up the new fence. Or actually, we're going to be starting with the old fence. We're going to get that as far as it'll go, and then we'll pick up the new fence. Well, actually, no, because I just got the new roll from my brother's house. He had another leftover roll up there that I didn't know he was getting rid of whenever I picked up the other fencing. So we're going to be using the old fencing first, getting down the perimeter here, and then closer to the vegetable garden, we'll pick up the new fencing roll. Because the fencing I got off of him is actually cattle fencing, so it has some smaller squares at the bottom and then bigger squares at the top. And the fencing I have everywhere else is actually 2x4 welded wire fencing, and it has even squares top to bottom. But fencing is not cheap, so I'll take what I can get. And I don't really want to stop all animal traffic going through here. I just want to stop the predators from coming in and getting my birds. Huh, Pop? You getting some shade in there, bud? I see ya. Alright, we still have some more works to do. Then we might try and mow tonight. And I'm also going to have to get the fence pounder out for these T-posts. I was able to use the hammer up there in the pasture for the other smaller posts that I put in. Now those posts that I put in yesterday are going into softer dirt up there, and they're a little bit lighter weight metal. So I was able to use the little sledge there and just pound those ones in. Now I only have 4 acres here that I'm managing, but it still gives me a variety of soils. And up there at the pasture, it's a lot easier to pound posts in, and down here it's a little bit harder. So out here the sledge is not working, so I'm going to have to grab the actual post pounder and get that over here so I can start setting some posts. Huh, Pup? It's a nice day, isn't it? Sorry about that. Alright, good enough for the night. Alright, pup. Little girl went home, the duck family went out to the pond, and I got all the feed taken care of at the barn. What are you doing, trying to play? You trying to play, pup? Alright, hold on, go. Good. Good, got it before the water. You might not be able to once we do the pond expansion. Pup. We're gonna head out to the fence line here. I need to get it tied up to the post. How you doing, mama ducks? Keeping an eye on everybody? Good. You too? Oh, good job, little rooster. Really stretching out their crows now. Go ahead, Pebbles. Keep them safe. Oh, I gotta get the yards mowed here. We're getting long. But we ended up making it pretty far down the line here with the extra fence that I was able to get off my brother. But we still have a little bit more to go here before we reach the end of the vegetable garden. And I could have used one more T-post here to span this gap to the wooden post that I have over there. But I just have the fence thrown over the top of the post right now, and I'm gonna go through and get it all zip tied tight. Pup, I think it's looking pretty good. We have it wrapping around the corner and connecting to the last spot that we left off on the perimeter fence. So now the ducks should be safe all the way around to where I am. I still have a little bit of fencing rolled up here. We're trying to get this 2-foot fencing rolled out of here. And then I have the one roll that I bought that I haven't used yet. Get your sniffs in now, pup. That area is gonna be off limits here soon. Now, one of my goals this year is actually to complete this lower property fence line all the way to the corner. This part we're doing on the Homestead channel, but if you want to see the rest of it, that's going to be on my Nature at Home channel, because we're going to be crossing into the vegetable garden and then the side garden and the front garden. And all the flower growing and aquatics is on my other channel, Whitt Acres Nature at Home. So make sure to subscribe to both channels to get everything coming out here from Whitt Acres. Alright, I'm going to try and get this fence attached before dinner's ready. Alright, so we were able to get the pasture up in last video for the broilers. They're not quite big enough to use that yet, but we have that fenced off for them waiting. And the perimeter fence was almost all the way down to the pine tree, and now we've actually extended it past the pine tree, around the corner, down this line, and it stops about 60 feet off of the back of the vegetable garden. I'm going to leave this 2-foot fence up until I'm ready to string it the rest of the way across. And this fence will help keep the predators out for now, and I think I got it pretty straight. But this is still just going to be a temporary fence. I don't know exactly where the line is right now. I'm actually going to wait until fall when I can see the property border a little bit better. Once we lose all the foliage in there, we'll be able to actually see the line. So I'm going to hold off on a permanent fence for now, but I still needed to put a fence up because I was worried about something coming through the corn. I know we've all seen a movie where that happens. But it's getting close to dinner time. Echo Pup's waiting on me, and my bread should be done soon in the oven. Birds. Maple. You're gonna have a hard time hatching eggs, Maple. You bird. Everybody else resting? Good. Alright, I don't know if we're getting that jungle cut down today. Pup. Running out of time and energy. We'll see what I feel like after dinner. Oh, the duck family made it back down here. Already, girls? I can't blame you. It's a gorgeous view. Alright, you hang out down here. We got some time before closing. And the camping crate is empty. Broilers. Everybody cuddled up. Yeah, I see you. Good. And tonight we're having a mushroom Swiss burger on homegrown beef and homegrown fries with some pickles. Pop. Good. Mumbles. I'll get out of your way, girl. Well, I had enough energy to get one section done. At least we got the little section inside the triangle pen. And that way I shouldn't be losing any of the birds again. And I did have to borrow my brother's gas-powered steel weed whacker to chop this down because this is thick ragweed. I have a DeWalt weed whacker that you guys actually sent in, but that's an electric weed whacker and it just doesn't cut through the big stuff like this will. But we got a little bit of this chopped down. We're gonna have to save the rest of it for tomorrow. Huh, Pup? All good? You guys can keep those couple trees. Come on, Pup. Huh, Pup. If you're wondering what the white spot is on Echo Pup in this video, that's actually a clay mixture. He actually scratched a spot of fur off right there, so I had to put that on to keep him from rubbing it. We're trying to get a handle on his itchy problem. It seems like we're doing good, and then he ends up breaking something open. Huh, Pup, I'm trying. Alright, that's going to be all for this one. We got part of the perimeter fence up, and we got part of the duck forest chopped down. It's a process. There's always more to do here. If you want to keep following along with everything here at Whitt Acres, make sure to subscribe down below. Hit that like button before you leave, and you can see me and Echo on the next one. Thanks for watching. Good boy. Ron, go to bed.